to the 2:30 PM Public Works Committee meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. Agenda item number 2, Susan McKee, are you here? Hi, come on up.
Yes.
Right here? Yes.
Right, that'd be great.
Reappointment to the Tulsa Preservation Commission. Term expires October 1st, 2028. Attended 7 of 10 meetings representing Council District 4. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Good. Let's, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you would like to continue to serve on the Preservation Commission.
Well, I really enjoy the historic fabric of Tulsa. And I'm really interested in keeping the historic integrity of our old neighborhoods. So I just was, so I wanted to continue this that I've been started and I've been doing for a while. So
Thank you for your willingness to serve.
Huh?
I said thank you for your willingness to serve.
Definitely.
Are there any other questions or comments from the council?
No, thank you. Oh, okay.
Another CD4 appointment.
We have a lot of historic neighborhoods that need to be preserved.
That's true.
Yes,
That's true.
definitely.
Based on urban planning and.
Okay, so we will vote at the 5 o'clock city council meeting on July 22nd.
Okay.
You don't have to attend, but you're free to attend if you would like to and
Okay.
can have words, but it's not required.
Well, thank you.
And good job on matching your tag to your sweater.
Oh, I didn't realize that until I looked at it.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
Thank you, have a good afternoon.
Everybody's
Resolution,
gonna look.
agenda item number 3, resolution authorizing payment of $223,561.50 for attorney fees to Tracy Lewis, plaintiff, and David Mitchell Garrett Law Office, PLLC, and Christopher L. Camp, attorney at law from the sinking fund as payment of a judgment in case number CJ 2022-2783, Tracy Lewis versus City of Tulsa. And our attorneys is getting paid. About the third time it's been on there. Yeah, go ahead.
Afternoon, Chad Becker from Treasury, here to provide assurance again that there is sufficient cash in the sinking fund to pay this judgment ahead of the levy placement on the property tax rolls. The judgment has been approved by the court and the mayor, and with council's approval, finance will issue payment to the claimant and forward the necessary paperwork to the county to levy repayments. Actually, the sinking fund over a 3-year period on this one. Now, this is a familiar name and a familiar case, but Michelle McGrew from Legal is here to provide details.
Okay.
Thank you. This was on last month where you guys approved the payment for attorney's fees, but the resolution just included the litigation cost and the interest on the judgment, not the attorney's fees. So now we have redone it for the $223,569.50 for the attorney's fees awarded by the court, plus the statutory interest of $3,162.40. for a total of $226,723.90. But she hasn't, her attorneys have not been paid her attorney's fees yet, even though we approved it last time.
And
So-
what was it for again? When it was on the agenda previously?
It was for attorney's fees, but the resolution, because at the last minute was changed to, we were trying to get the attorney's fees because the judge just came out with the order on June 2nd, the attorney's fees award. And we already had the litigation costs and interest on the judgment amount on city council. So we came forth to get the attorney's fees award included, but the resolution just had the interest and the attorney's fees litigation cost on it, not the $223,000 attorney fee award. So it's not double payment, it's just, we're here twice for the same amount
You
that
said
the
a-
judge awarded.
Okay, so it is the same amount?
It's the same amount plus the statutory interest now
Of 3,000.
of $3,162.40.
Okay, any other questions or comments? All right, thank you.
Thank
What
you.
estimate the balance left? Leslie?
Oh. single
Oh, I don't know, I
fund.
was way off last time. It was 92 million last time, so
I'm gonna say it's
90.7 million.
91.75.
97.1.
Oh, see?
I almost
You were,
went up.
I know, because, yeah,
I
I was
just-
just dyslexic or something.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Agenda item number 4.
We're in the,
Resolution adopting the
General.
February 2024 Crow Creek, Swan Creek, Travis Park Master Drainage Plan and changes to the City of Tulsa Regulatory Floodplain Map Atlas as the official City of Tulsa floodplain maps for those parts of Tulsa County lying within the City of Tulsa's city limits, which maps supersede the previous Tulsa County and incorporated areas floodplain maps for the City of Tulsa Floodplain Map Atlas. Panels 36, 37, 46, and 47, providing that copies of said maps be filed and kept in the office of the city clerk in making said maps available to the public at a reasonable charge. This carries the emergency clause.
I'm working on it.
Provide this down this way.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I'm Joan Goswick. I'm the manager for stormwater planning. And the resolution that we're presenting to you today is to adopt the Crow Creek, Swan Creek, and Travis Park Master Drainage Plan. The plan was completed in February 2024 and has been reviewed internally and but had not been formally adopted as the revised floodplain map for the city of Tulsa. So that's what the resolution is. In the information that I provided you, there are 5 maps that show the changes to the floodplain. The most significant change is in the Travis Park area, which is page 1 of 5. The previous City of Tulsa regulatory floodplain in that area was mapped based on the 1986 flood. The 1986 flood was more than a 100-year flood, so the floodplain, the Tulsa regulatory floodplain in that area is remapped to the 100-year fully urbanized floodplain. So those changes will be incorporated. That will remove, I don't have the numbers with me, but there will be a significant area removed from the regulatory floodplain. As you go through the remaining pages, 2 through 5, you will see the orange is again some areas that when we have remodeled the regulatory floodplain, there are some additions and reductions along the channels, but they're relatively smaller than the Travis Park area. Did I miss you?
oh, it's okay.
I'm so sorry.
You're good. I'm signing those certificates.
So one of the most important things about master drainage plans is we use new information about rainfall intensity, about development and how an area has developed and the plans for that area, although these basins are really fully urbanized already, to adjust the maps and confirm the maps. The second thing that we do when we do a master drainage plan is we identify problem areas, so areas where structures, roads, et cetera, are within the 100-year floodplain, and propose projects that we add to the CIP inventory to address those areas. So I did provide you an additional handout with today's materials that outline the problem area projects that will be added to the inventory. And for the Crow Creek Basin, there are, let's see, my math will probably fail me because of the numbering system. There's more than 20 projects to be added to the inventory. The total value of those projects in 2024 dollars was $176 million. Swan Creek has 3 problem areas that have projects to be added to the inventory. They impact, I think that's about 80 structures and a total of $41 million. And then Travis Park has 1 project that would, there's 63 structures in the 1% floodplain, and that's a $16.6 million project. So you can see that this one master drainage plan added $200 million worth of proposed projects to the backlog of City of Tulsa stormwater projects. The current backlog in round numbers is about $2.5 billion.
Gotta
So
update
these
your
are-
number, Carol.
I know, I kept talking.
These are three different areas, correct?
It's three different creeks that drain to the Arkansas River. There's several tributaries so Crow Creek has several different tributaries that drain into Crow Creek. They're unnamed tributaries of Crow Creek, and then Crow Creek will drain to the Arkansas River. All of them some of them are less noticeable because they actually have been undergrounded, and the creek is in very large diameter pipe. A good portion of Crow, like the project we're doing at Woodward Park right now, is really part of a creek that has been put into an underground conduit, storm sewer. So a lot of times people don't necessarily notice that they're in the floodplain or notice that they're even in the floodway of a creek because the creek is underground. The storm sewer goes through their yard or adjacent to their property.
Okay, so each map has the same title on it.
Same project.
It's all one project, it's all,
So is there any, and maybe I'm
But
just
for which
missing
one
it.
is Crow?
Which one is Crow, Travis, or Swan?
Well, that's when you go to this handout.
Okay.
well,
Workshop on, you didn't get that?
the report has a key map that shows where these 5 maps lay over. Map 1, page 1 is Travis.
I've just taken this
Oh,
from
yeah,
Bill.
don't take it back. It's,
It's two.
there's
Post it from
No.
this too. We
no
What else
effect
can I
to
do?
it.
It kind of gives you an idea down here in the little,
He's missing.
Squares.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it.
A lot of
Figure out how you
Crow-
read the thing.
Well, a lot of Crow Creek's around 31st area. It's straddling
Yeah, it's
us.
our area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of Travis Park is on page 1. So you're seeing Travis Park on page 1. You're seeing Swan Lake and Swan Creek on page 4 and 5. And you're seeing most of Crow on 2 and 3.
Question while she's looking at it.
Yeah.
When you guys go in and do those improvements to the creek, you are laying a bigger pipe, right? Down, like if we have to, like Woodward. How do we determine the size of the pipe
So-
going in?
So the size of the pipe will be determined on calculating the volume of the flow.
Right.
So we are designing for a 100-year storm. So we're looking at a 100-year rain event, and we go through the modeling process to determine how much flow is produced by that event. Though all of those tables and all of that data is within a master drainage plan. So our engineers, they did the master drainage plan modeling, determined the flows for all of those tributaries and areas and those. So then a storm sewer will be designed based on that flow that was determined by the hydraulic and by the modeling.
Okay, so they're all different sizes depending on.
They can be
the
all
flow.
different sizes
Got it.
depending on the area that's being drained, the types of soils, the type of, how much development is in that area, the amount of impervious area.
Okay.
So all of that will factor into sizing a pipe in the engineering study that follows, as we look at.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just, believe it or not, my constituents ask.
Yes, I
my
understand.
constituents want to know the size of the pipe going in all the time. So that's why I was,
For all the places that have those
Yeah.
small older ones, they.
And
always know.
historically, if a line has been in place for a long time, development in the area may be very different now than when that
Correct.
line was installed. And criteria are different, so engineering criteria has changed.
Right.
So we do have undersized pipe in
Yeah.
areas, but we would size it, so we would do the modeling, we would size it based on the flow,
Right.
the calculated flows.
yeah. No, that helps, so I can go back and explain it to them when they call me, which is daily.
Councilman Bellis?
It's been the whole summer of just drainage issues. Makes me want to make, there will be
So
blood.
I have
pressure
extra
testing.
staff here to help with
Seems like
specific
this is the
issues.
100-year rainfall, so.
It's
I
just,
know.
but yeah, there's just been, in this
You're
specific
draining
area.
into my people.
I know, this is actually, it's a inter-district, like, legal problem between us now. No. I was just gonna check, just to clarify for the people watching at home or things like that, especially with this big change in that kind of Maple Ridge area. I've always heard complaints from people over time about their ability to access flood insurance and things like that. How does a change in a regulatory floodplain, you may not know this, so it's like, but let me know. I just wasn't sure how this interfaces with people's ability to insure property.
Well, if you are in the federal FEMA floodplain and you have a federal loan, you'll be required to get flood insurance.
Okay.
Some banks may even require flood insurance for City of Tulsa regulatory floodplain.
Okay.
So if we add a property to the floodplain and they sell that, it may require flood insurance for that new mortgage. If we remove the property from the federal flood insurance, from the floodplain, it may change their premium on their flood insurance if they have it. So if it is removed from the floodplain, it could be lower.
Okay.
But they've changed the process. It used to be a yes or no. Are you in the floodplain? Aren't you in the floodplain? Now that they use a risk-based system for determining premiums, it can be kind of distance-based, like how far are you from the 100-year floodplain? So your premium may or may not change because you're still kind of in the same spot.
Okay.
City of Tulsa being with our CRS program, everybody in Tulsa does get a 45% discount off their flood insurance. Only thing is they don't necessarily see that as like a coupon. Because the discount will already be factored into the rate that they're quoted.
I see. Okay.
So they won't be quoted $300 and get 45% off. $300 will reflect the fact that City of Tulsa's participation in the CRS program. So we do have some of the lowest flood insurance rates in the country for the same risk.
Thanks, that's helpful.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 5, ordinance amending ordinance 25688, closing a certain portion of a vertical airspace located at 711 South Boulder Avenue, crossing the intersection of West 7th Street and South Boulder Avenue. Tulsa Original Town Edition, requested by Jamie Skipper of Wallace Design Collective on behalf of Mayfield Investments, Inc., for construction of a sky bridge. The revised sky bridge design doesn't match the horizontal and vertical limits of the airspace previously closed by ordinance 25688. Portions of the structure now fall outside of the legally authorized airspace envelope, requiring a new ordinance. This is in Council District 4. Sounds like something is messed up.
Because we did this pretty recently for the construction to start, right?
Right. Paul Zachary, I'm with Public Works. This is with the new ONG expansion in connection to the parking garage. It's a diagonal bridge. They had it under concept, and then when they actually got into construction, they realized whenever we close things, there it is right there, if you go back, it's actually diagonally going across this street. And what we did, just like what we do on crossways that are crossing for elevated crosswalks, we specified the elevation so far above the pavement to a certain height. We closed that. We don't want to issue, I'm going to say license agreements, because if we wanted it out, it's not feasible that you're going to remove this. So for insurance, underwriting, and all those things that are permanent structures like this, we literally go ahead and close. And what happened when they got into final design, they're a little bit lower in some areas and higher in the others. So what we're doing is just going back and amending the previously approved not license agreement, the closure, to reflect that we've encapsulated the full top and bottom now that they have 100% drawing. So let's just make it accurate as opposed to us finding that we have a problem out in the future. So it just slightly came outside, but we want it to be right so it doesn't create a problem for them in the future. And we would just ask for your approval of this, and we have received no objections to this at all, so we would just ask for your all's approval.
Questions or comments? Agenda item number 6, ordinance closing a portion of a sanitary sewer easement requested by Robert Vale of Vale Land Use LLC for property located at 2258 East 31st Street, Oak Knoll Addition. The easement closure request is for the development of the property in Council District 9.
Yes, ma'am, as part of the development, they're building over the location of where there was an existing sanitary sewer and a sewer easement. And they asked for that to be closed, and the stipulation of that is we will close that easement once we have our new sanitary sewer in place, in an accepted easement and functioning, and then we will go and close that easement. So that's what we have now, is the IDP has been finalized and approved. We have a new sanitary sewer that's been rerouted. It's functioning, and now we would recommend approval to close this easement and to close out the old sanitary sewer line that's there that's no longer in function. So we would ask for your approval of that.
Questions or comments? Agenda item number 7, resolution authorizing condemnation of property owned by Alfonso Rosas and Angelica Y. Lopez, located at 1147 North College Avenue. Home Gardens Addition, an existing public necessity, requires sanitary sewer improvements in the vicinity of North Harvard Avenue and East Marshall Street for Coal Creek rehabilitation relief. This carries the emergency clause.
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes we get out there, the sanitary sewers we find are not in easements, and they're not, instead of just relying on prescriptive rights, we're trying to go back and get easements on things. And this particular one, $2,737. We started in December 15th of '25. We've sent packets, we've sent certified letters, undeliverable returns back to us. We've looked and researched as much as we can as possible addresses. As late as with March 6th was our latest try, and it came back unclaimed. So we, the property is also fenced, and it has beware of dogs. So we're just unable to access the front door to knock on it and things like that. So we're really just entering into a judicial process to help us track down who these people are and where we need to write the checks to. It's not, we're not in disagreement, we just haven't been able to get hold of them.
Okay. Questions or comments? Agenda item number 8, resolution authorizing condemnation.
Yep, there's 2 of them. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Resolution authorizing condemnation of various properties owned by Oakhurst Strategies, Inc., located at 1240 North Harvard Avenue, 1162 North Harvard Avenue, 1197 North Gary Place, and 1204 North Gary Place, 1208 North Gary Place, 1212 North Gary Place, Tulsa Garden Acres Addition. An existing public necessity requires sanitary sewer improvements in the vicinity of North Harvard Avenue and East Marshall Street for Coal Creek rehabilitation relief. Carries the emergency clause, also in Council District 3.
Yes, ma'am. This has started back December 15th of 2025. We sent first offer letters to each one of these and the owner of the property. We did receive the card signed back that the certified mail was in fact delivered. We then called, we've left messages. February, we did a second letter mailed. We also received that card returned. It came back then undelivered at that point. He didn't sign for it the next time. Called, left voicemail, there's no answer. We've left another voicemail. March 30th, we mailed and sent certified final offer. We received no response, but we did receive the card back that certified letter was in fact received, but just no response. So the reason for this condemnation, the city and owner, we don't have any disagreement on price. We haven't really even been able to get a response back on it, and it's just the owner refuses to respond. And this is just like on the prior one, this is just what we do. We go and have the judge help do it, and they tend to maybe answer better to a judge's letter than a City of Tulsa letter.
Okay. Questions or comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Agenda item number 9, license agreement between the City of Tulsa and Southwestern Vale Telephone Company, DBA AT&T Oklahoma, for property located on South Wells Ranch Road, approximately 950 feet north of East 530 Road, Rogers County, Oklahoma, to install an aerial fiber optic line over a raw water flow line right-of-way.
Yes, ma'am, these are, since we go cross-country, they're building their lines along public roads out in these areas, and they're crossing, in this particular one, it is a cable going across the top. We have very clear specifications on how close the poles can be to our public right-of-way, also the minimum height. The minimum that we have as far as a sag distance of a line over it is 32.7 feet. Their low point in their cable is 34.5 feet. They are doing a 148-foot wide span, which completely crosses our 100-foot right-of-way, and it does not look like it will adversely impact our operations. But as with all license agreements, if we ever have to get out there and construct and we accidentally hit that, then so be it. They are aware of the risk, and they're willing to sign the license agreement. We would ask for your approval on that.
Questions, comments?
Classic District 4 decorative sidewalk driveway stuff.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, no balsamic or whatever rock
I know, I
we
usually
had
learn
this
a new
time.
material.
Yeah, okay. That's a salad dressing, isn't it? Sorry.
But it sounded Italian and
Yeah.
nice.
Bowmanite.
I guess, just as a quick clarifier, for like, for instance, the brick pavers, I know sometimes those create accessibility issues if they're too textured. Is that something that gets, I'm assuming?
Yes,
I
it
figured,
is.
yeah.
If they cannot create tripping hazards and we apply the ADA
Okay.
difference in elevations, we still don't do some of those things in our areas because of the complaints we've had from wheelchairs.
Yeah.
So if they're just like crossing their driveway, that's okay, but we still watch for that tripping hazard requirement. So we are in compliance with ADA, but not necessarily what we would do on our sidewalks.
Okay, thanks. That's helpful.
All right. Agenda item number 10, license agreement between the City of Tulsa and Donna R. Chapel and Aaron L. Lenigan Chapel for property located at 305 East 19th Street, South Side Addition, to install and maintain decorative lighted archways with support stakes and a decorative brick paver sidewalk within the street right-of-way in Council District 4.
No Maple Ridge.
Yeah, there's some pictures in here, but we did, they have some lighted archways they have as they approach their home, and they would like a couple on the sidewalk that runs in the public right-of-way in front of their homes. We also, the brick work, the pavers that they want to put in, those have been checked, and nobody offered any objections to it. These things are by no means a permanent installation. If you look at the pictures that are they're lit up hoops that they'll have up and over the road. So it probably looks best at night if you're seeing the lights.
It actually looks pretty cool.
A lot of things look better in the dark, don't they,
When I do my
Counselor?
Christmas light drop, it's gonna be a good song.
They do. Thanks for the compliment.
That wasn't meant, that was not. Okay, anyhow. So we received no objections on this one, so we would ask for your approval on that.
Light it up.
You're good, Councilor Bellis?
Oh, yeah, I'll drive by there when they have their Christmas decorations up, I bet it'll be nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Drop
Agenda
this,
item number
Councilor
11.
Bingle.
License agreement between the City of Tulsa and VTR Hillcrest HS Tulsa LLC for property located at 8801 South 101st East Avenue, South Crest Medical Campus Addition, to install and maintain a monument sign within a raised median on East 88th Street South, adjacent to the South Mingo Road, in and upon the street right-of-way in Council District 7.
Yes, ma'am. Off of the arterial roadways, Hillcrest, there are medians in the entrance. It's a divided entrance on a public street. And there are pictures of the signs. They've had them there in the past, and we were out there. So this is a catch-up, and we're just licensing these signs to be placed there in the medians. They are far enough back. They do not create a sight distance issue, but we actually had no record of those items in there. And provided us all the drawings and everything for the backup for the information that we needed. So both this item and the next one will be a different location. One is off of one road, one's off another, but both placements are just the same in a median and a divided entrance on a public street.
Questions or comments? Agenda item number 12, license agreement between the City of Tulsa and BTR Hillcrest HS Tulsa LLC for property located at 8801 South 101st East Avenue, Southwest Medical Campus Edition, to install and maintain a monument sign within a raised median on East 88th Street South, adjacent to South Domingo Road, in and upon the street right-of-way. That sounds just the same.
Okay, all right, those got duplicated. The first one,
Well, the
item
project
11.
numbers are a little different.
Well, they are, but the number 11 was 88th Street as you read it. Number 12, it's a raised median on East 101st East Avenue off of 91st Street. So if we need to bring that one back,
91st.
it's just a different location. The first one read correctly, 11 is at 12, instead of saying a raised median on the East 88th Street, it should be on South 101st East Avenue, adjacent to 91st, East 91st Street. So I think those just got duplicated, so I'm assuming bring back number 12.
All right.
Okay?
Going on to agenda item 13.
Yes, ma'am.
License agreement between the City of Tulsa and BKL Holdings LLC for property located at 4901 North Domingo Road, Crane Carrier Lot 1, amended edition, to install and maintain a raised sidewalk with a drainage structure and handrails within the street right-of-way in Council District 3.
Yes, ma'am. As part of this development, they were running sidewalk along the road. There was one place where they have a larger swale and a drainage box is underneath it, and the distance, the fall distance off the side of the sidewalk, they're adding the handrail. So we're doing a license agreement for that. That will be their issues to maintain. And then another one, it's just a raised sidewalk and they have a low culvert underneath it. And it's going to be nice because the stormwater now doesn't overrun the sidewalk and get it mossy and slick and stuff like that, so the drainage is going under. We like those, but as just a matter of course, because they have a swale leading to it, it's all under their responsibility to keep it functioning. We don't want it to fill in over time. So that's what these license agreements are, for them to maintain those crossings that they had to install because they decided to install the sidewalk in the manner in which they did. So we would just ask for your approval of the license agreement as well.
Council Dudley?
Yeah, I'm looking at the exhibits and the backup documentation. Where would the handrails go?
The handrails we did not show a picture of the one with the handrails. There is a drawing, if you look at that. I'm sorry.
The numbers are so small.
Yes, they are.
I can
See,
barely
BTR
read it.
Hillcrest. That's BKL, 4901. The one, these that you're seeing, they have the shallow. If they get to anywhere like around a 3-foot drop-off, they have a handrail, and the detail is here, and that may not be installed yet, but they actually have a drainage box underneath that, and that's where that fall protection fence will go.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I see.
Okay, but the pictures that you have right there don't
Right.
require that fall protection. But you kind of see an idea. It's like, we don't need our guys going up on their property cleaning out their drainage ditch all the way back to
Yeah,
drain
no,
to that.
for real. I get it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Agenda item 14, license agreement between the City of Tulsa and Dominion Communications LLC for property located on South 4200 Road, approximately 1,600 feet north of East 530 Road, east side of road, unplatted, to install a 1 1/4 inch poly duct and fiber optic line underneath raw water flow lines. This is in Rogers County.
Yes, ma'am. This one is a buried installation, and we have a requirement that it's at least 6 foot below the outside of our conduits, and you can see in aerials of where they are. It's crossing down a arterial roadway system and crossing their bores and everything and their depths. They are well within our standard detail that we want, and they come up outside our pipe. So we see no interference with our operation and maintenance of our system by having this pipe there. But as always, if we ever replace it and we nick it, chip it, do whatever, it's not a fault of the city's.
Questions or comments? Agenda item 15, ordinance amending Tulsa revised ordinance Title 24 nuisances by adding a new chapter 6, waiver of costs and fees to promote housing affordability. An ordinance providing for the waiver of nuisance abatement costs and fees under specified conditions to promote affordable housing, providing for the clawback of waived fees and costs if required documentation is not timely submitted, providing for severability. Bellis, Dector, and Wright, Lincoln, and Bush on this ordinance.
Hi, good afternoon, council. You'll remember that this and the next one came before you a few weeks ago, and I know you all didn't ask for it to come back, but we wanted to clarify a couple of things, and so this should be quick. One thing that had not been in the prior draft that is in the draft in the backup now is the requirement that the property to qualify has to be uninhabited for at least 6 months. And I think that's something Travis had mentioned, but it hadn't been in the prior draft, so it is there now. Another thing Travis had mentioned last time was a requirement that there not be other private liens.
Say that again, under private?
That there not be other private liens on the property.
Liens,
That is not in the draft, and kind of in discussing it, Gene and Travis, I think agree just not to have that as a condition. So you can see the conditions, you know, it's important things like that our nuisance liens were incurred prior to that current owner taking possession of the property, the uninhabited requirement, the covenant requirement, all that's in there, but we just wanted to clarify those two things. And then another one, the discussion, and Councilor Hall Harper, you had brought this up last time. You were correct. So when property goes to a tax sale, the city policy is to release our liens. So in having done some legal research on that, the policy now is, you know, if you buy something at tax sale and you call finance, that will release those. That I think, and I had done some research on that. My position is those have to be released. That, you know, if our liens were part of the impetus for the sale and they're part of the notice, that we need to release those. That would not apply to a sheriff's sale. So like in a foreclosure, those don't get released. And in fact, we enter appearances all the time on those and demand that we're paid first, that are our priority. But I did want to go back and kind of fix the record on that because you specifically brought it up.
So we're not losing money in that regard. The cost of whatever, it's the bid starts with both of those, right? The cost that the county has incurred as well as the city, and that's where it starts?
I don't believe so. I think sometimes we are losing that.
Why? We need to get our money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that has to do with, and I apologize, I can't remember what the minimum bid is, but yeah, sometimes we are not able to be paid in full on those.
Why? I feel like a
Not sure.
5-year-old. I'm not getting asked.
Do the liens exceed the minimum bid requirement?
I think so.
Who sets the minimum bid requirement?
I think
Well, in the
County
state.
is state law. But
Is that set by law or state statute, or is it arbitrary?
I think
or-
state statute.
But on the new HB 2147, sorry, Chief Bill Mash, Senior Advisor to the Mayor on Housing, the new HB House Bill 2147, which is incorporated into our vacancy improvement program, which y'all approved a couple weeks ago, if we do implement that would be a foreclosure sale, which, as Caroline mentioned, our liens would not be waived in that process. So another reason for us to try to use that new process, A, it's faster, and B, we have more likelihood of getting paid on those.
You said the fees would not be waived in the foreclosure process?
Correct. As Caroline indicated, a sheriff's sale, which is the new process, as opposed to the county tax sale. County tax sale is what Caroline was mentioning before. Our liens do get extinguished at the county tax sale, as opposed to our new process. If we go the other route, we have more likelihood of getting paid at a sheriff's sale, as opposed to the county tax sale.
So the
county wins on that then?
Well, sorry, what?
The county wins on that.
Well, they're not getting the money.
Well,
Yeah.
so, for example, if there are, oftentimes you'll see that we're owed money and ad valorem, right? And so those
So they
are
get their
part-
ad valorem.
we should be paid co-equally. So ours are co-equal with ad valorem. So, it should be that if it falls short, if the sale price falls short, then likely the county's losing out some too. Just it's not selling for enough to pay all of us that are at that top priority level, that's top priority.
I think the state law requires the minimum bid to be like 2/3 of the amount owed or something. And so if people bid up and the winning bid is enough to cover the taxes and the liens, everyone gets paid. If not, I think we all get paid proportionally. So
Okay.
we are in the
So
county
it's
are in the
based
same boat.
on you said 2/3 of the amount that's owed.
I think that's
So
right,
it
I mean,
varies.
don't quote me, but I think it's some state statute that determines the minimum bid. And so I think, our liens are co-equal with the county real estate ad valorem tax.
And so only if it gets into a bidding war do we,
Correct, we get paid the full
Get-
amount.
Yes.
Counselor Lakin,
Oh, no, I was just signaling
to what?
to all the people who were here previously. It's okay.
Talking about
Just
Soccer.
It's a World Cup.
Soccer related.
I thought you were doing a Jamie
Oh.
Fowler, can we?
FIFA.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
And then just to clarify again, these two ordinances were already approved first reading, so they should go to second reading tonight again. We just wanted to clarify
To
some of
clarify
these
that. Okay.
miscommunications or misunderstandings the last one.
And this allows a way for us to release those liens in exchange for certain, an agreement to do certain things and provide affordable housing.
And this is the county. So are any of the programs that we've been talking about, because we've talked about the sheriff's sale. The sheriffs are the ones that's foreclosure based versus, okay. All right, I'm just trying to get all this straight in my head. Any other questions about?
I do have
Counselor
a
Lakin?
real question. This is a soccer question. This is just a real question.
Okay.
Okay, so we have county foreclosure, sheriff sales. Do we have another process?
County tax sale, sheriff foreclosure. are the
Sheriff is
two.
the foreclosure.
County tax sale, sheriff
One.
foreclosure.
Sheriff foreclosure. County tax
And
sales
which
every year
one
in
are
June.
we waiving costs?
The county
The
tax
county.
sale.
Okay.
Sorry, I just confused everything by bringing up the sheriff's
Yeah.
foreclosure.
Because we don't get
Yeah.
anything
We're
on
just talking
sheriff's
about,
sales.
today we're just talking about the annual county tax sale occurs every June. If, we're just clarifying that if a property gets sold at that foreclosure, any city liens get extinguished.
Yeah, okay. Under like a certain amount, $10,000 or something like that. Isn't there a number in there?
There's a number in the ordinance that
Yeah.
says if a property changes hands outside of the county tax
Right.
sale, so if I have a property with liens on it, and Caroline buys my property from me, Caroline can come to the city and we would waive the liens separate and apart from the tax sale.
Yeah. Then the
Because they
2
go
points that
away.
you were clarifying, the second of those 2 points, what was that?
Was, there is no condition right now that you don't have other private liens on the property.
Oh, yeah, and a private lien would be some, like,
Bank or,
so if you do
mechanics
have a
lien,
private lien, you can't go through this program. Or, sorry.
No, we're not gonna, I guess, ultimately,
Yeah.
we're not gonna look at
We
that.
talked about having that as a requirement, and we decided that'd be really hard to manage and monitor. So we decided that we're not gonna require that. So even if there are private liens, we'll still waive our lien if you meet our requirements. And then it's up to the property owner to
take care
clarify
of the
those
private
liens
liens.
themselves.
Okay.
We're not getting in the middle of that.
And what was the first point that you made?
This draft
I think I
does
got that
have it must have been uninhabited for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something that Travis had brought up. I was
Yeah.
catching the draft up to make
Understood
sure.
that one. Okay, I got confused on the private lien and just wanted to make sure I understood the foreclosure sheriff sale thing. Okay, thank you.
Are you watching soccer?
Maybe.
It's called football. He can't disclose it this time.
That's why I was raising, one team
You say
scored.
goal.
Yeah, that's why you were
Yeah.
asking so many
This
questions.
indicates the team that
Yeah,
scored. This indicates the
The
team that
professor
did it.
noticed you might not have been paying full attention.
Yes.
Counselor Dutton.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering,
Okay, he's not ashamed.
what does it look like with the liens that are being dismissed? I mean, what does that cost in the end look like with these various sources and sales? I mean, yeah, I'm just wondering how much the city's actually losing.
I don't have that data at this point, but again, we're,
On the sheriff's
right,
sales,
on
we're not.
on the county tax sale,
Yeah.
that
On the
happens
county-
routinely by state law,
Yeah, but-
nothing we can do
right.
about that.
And then the sheriff's sale and then these private liens.
The
that-
ordinance we're talking about today
Mhm.
is if a property is sold outside of the county tax sale.
Right.
There was just some conversation at the last meeting about, don't our liens get waived at a county tax sale,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't sure, the answer is yes. What we're talking about today is a private sale.
Right.
So if somebody just buys a lien, this ordinance is intended to waive those liens so that we can encourage more people to take these properties that have liens and rehabilitate them and create housing. So
Right.
thus the condition that it has to be vacant, so we don't want somebody buying property that's already inhabited, that's already happening, we don't need to incentivize that. But we're just talking about creating a new program that would hopefully further incentivize people to buy these properties with liens, and the city would waive the liens so that we can get new housing.
Right, okay,
And
so
we
that,
have limitations, we will not waive more than $10,000 per property.
right, which,
So we have a lien and we will track how many of these waivers we request.
yeah,
And if it becomes excessive, you all always have the ability to revoke an ordinance or amend an ordinance. We can lower the waiver, we can limit the number of waivers that we issue a year. So there aren't that many, I think there are like 200 properties with city liens on it currently, is that? 1,200. So it's not a huge number. I think the vast majority of those liens are under $1,000.
well, that's, okay, so that goes back to the question then, for the private liens that are waived, and then the money that we're losing with the county tax sales. I'm just wondering what that would look like in the.
Yeah, so we have no ability to waive private liens, right?
Right.
If I loan you money and you put a mortgage on my house, that's between you and me. The
Right.
city has nothing to do with that. We're not touching that. What we're talking about, and today's conversation, the ordinance has nothing to do with the county tax sale. All we're talking about today is if there's a private sale of property that has a city lien,
Okay.
the city will waive up to $10,000 per property if the new buyer agrees to build, so it had to have been
Right,
vacant, so we're
right.
creating new housing, they agree to build within a short period of time and keep it affordable for a longer period of time.
You'd think I was
And
watching
if they
soccer, too.
don't, then we can go
Then
back
we
in
can
and
reclaw back
reclaim
the
those-
lien,
that
correct.
money, yeah.
So we're only offering lien waiver if they're producing affordable housing.
Right,
And so again, if there are 1,200 properties that have liens, most of them are about $1,000, we're talking about $12,000.
right,
Who's gonna be tracking that?
yeah.
The housing office, there's a new position, the housing program coordinator in the current budget, so this will be one of the things that they will be administering.
Okay, I'd still like to know what the end up, what it looks like.
We can
Down
provide
the
some
road.
sort of yearly report or something
Yeah.
as to how this program is
Right.
going, or.
I think that'd be great. Thank you.
Sure.
So
think
once
it's
we pass
mostly
this,
your
there's
decision?
no requirement that you engage with the counselors for that those are being,
Right, so this is essentially you guys delegating the authority to the staff to waive liens up to $10,000. So if somebody comes in with a very large lien, they would still have to go to you. This is liens of $10,000 and below, you're delegating that authority to staff, so that it hopefully be a more efficient, streamlined process. We can certainly report to you on a periodic basis as to how the program is working.
Yeah,
How can we write that in?
Right, that's what I was gonna ask, how we can get those reports to see how that process is working out, how much money we're not receiving because
Right.
those liens are being waived.
Right.
And how many houses are put into production?
And I think
Yes.
that's the
The lien-
ROI of the.
right.
Yeah.
I would ask you to look at it, not like
Occurring.
liens were technically not getting paid, because realistically, if the property just sits there, or gets sold at the tax sale, we're probably not collecting them anyways, but it's a
Right.
potential revenue loss. It's
Yeah,
just-
but, I
Yeah.
mean, you just said
Right.
yourself that it's something that we can do to
Yep.
amend the ordinance if we see that we're, if we're losing a certain amount of funds.
Yep.
Right.
So we need to know how can we track that funding source.
Sure.
So,
We could add a requirement for reporting,
like
Like
every
every
6 months.
weeks, oh, I'm thinking,
quarterly?
No?
Because the sales only happen on
Annual.
It's once.
yeah.
Quarterly?
You're gonna say what?
How often do
These
the
are not
actual,
sales.
like, how often do sales happen?
So again, keep in mind, this ordinance would only be for private sales.
For private
which could
sales,
happen
not
Which could happen
1,000 a
anytime,
day,
never
or it
mind,
could
right,
happen
we'll just keep
one-
circling back to whatever the sheriff's
But again,
office is doing.
there are only 1,200 properties that have city liens, so it's not like, you know, we're
You're gonna
breaking
get
the
all
bank.
12
Right,
all
all
1,200
right,
sold.
correct. I would love that to be the case, but I highly
Right,
doubt
yeah.
that. So,
Just a few things. Reporting requirements in the nuisance code are kind of odd. But we could just schedule Gene. Like, we could just send him a calendar invite, and if he doesn't come, then we can stick a reporting requirement in the ordinance.
Yeah.
I come when I'm
Ju-
invited.
Then we
Just-
have the Gene Bullmarsh reporting ordinance.
Just from a historical context, the city's done things like this before, but what this is doing is more formalizing it, so everybody's kind of given the same considerations, and there is some affordability requirements on the backside so that you can meet those public purpose requirements, and it does let people not have to go through as administratively burdensome of an issue. When these have come up before, I don't think it was that frequently. I don't think you would get new ones every monthly, you know, if you put that forward. So if that helps at all.
No, I'm sorry, it was.
So we'll be
Counselor
tracking
Archie, then Counselor
that
Bingham.
ourselves in the council office of every.
We'll just send, I'll do it
Send them
right
an
now.
invite
I'll
every
send
6
Gene a
months.
calendar invite right now.
We can also tie it to like threshold amounts, right? So we will be tracking how many requests we get, we'll be tracking how much each waiver is. So like, again, $10,000
December.
seems like a pretty small number in the city's budget, but we can report to you at every $10,000, like every time we get $10,000 of
It all
waiver, we
adds
can.
up.
Yeah, I get it, but again, I'm just thinking the world, there are
Yeah.
only 1,200 properties.
Right.
So even if 1,200 properties had $10,000, that's only $120,000 of actual liens that are out there, so, yeah, we can certainly do, I'm happy to
There's
come
another
whenever y'all invite
firefighter or
me.
another police
um,
officer,
Or
so.
we could put it to some threshold number.
Yeah.
So we're open to, we'll defer
Counselor,
to city people.
Counselor Archie, and then Counselor Bingham.
Yes, and maybe I missed, thank you, it's always good to have Eugene here, anytime. Maybe I missed it. Can you compare and contrast this, what we're talking about with the VIP program? Because I feel like the VIP, when the person buys it, they will pay, whatever lien is in there. Is that right? And just clarify that in my mind.
Yeah, so the vacancy improvement program, which council previously approved, is kind of the problematic properties that A, are not occupied, B, have at least $1,500 in liens, C, there's a 6-month cooling off period, and at that program, we're trying to get those properties to change hands for somebody else to acquire and build and develop. That process triggers the sheriff's foreclosure sale,
Okay.
as opposed to the county tax sale, which Caroline indicated, those typically the city gets paid for the liens. In theory, somebody could stack these ordinances, and so if the city were to trigger the vacancy improvement program on a piece of property, somebody could request a waiver of the liens, but I think so they could be stacked together, but they're separate processes, they don't have to go together.
Okay.
Right.
And this one, you just said, that is almost like to try to get a transfer. This
Right.
one, the transfer of ownership's already happened. So you have a new owner who said, there are these liens on this property, I didn't cause them. I wasn't causing the nuisance that led to these. They're keeping me from
Right,
kind
from
of
being able to sell or
developing.
rent this property or get a loan to rehab it.
Similar to the request I think you all get directly some of the time, and this doesn't take that away either. People would still be able to come directly to council, but this has in exchange for this, you have to do X, Y, and Z.
This intended to streamline that process, and as Sarah indicated, I think there have been various attempts over the years. Sometimes city staff did this, sometimes they didn't, and sometimes they went to you, and so we're just trying to streamline and make sure that everybody's treated the same.
All right.
Good?
Yeah.
Counselor Bingham?
Yeah, my questions are just reminder questions. So obviously, you said the property has to be uninhabited for at least 180 days. And what is the time, was it 2 years? At least within 2 years, I had to have is it an application in process?
2 years from the purchase, I think, to have a lease or a sale. So
Okay.
we want them within 2 years to get their permits, do the construction, and have somebody living in the property.
Okay, so at what point, what triggers clawback?
So if they don't have occupancy within the 2-year period, we could trigger clawback. Or if at any point they occupy the property and then it's vacant again. So depending on the amount of waived liens that we're waiving, it's a 3, 5, or 7-year affordability
Right.
period. So, and there's an annual certification from the owner. So if we don't get the annual certification, we could follow up and say, hey, you didn't give us your certification, what's going on? And if they haven't done what they said they're gonna do within that 3, 5, 7-year period, we can claw it back. Either
Okay.
initially, or let's say they lease it, somebody moves in, 3 months later they move out, and it's vacant for 9 months. If we don't get, either if we don't get that annual certification, or if the annual certification doesn't confirm that they're doing what they're supposed to do, we could claw it back for however long that 3, 5, 7-year period of affordability is, depending on how much we waive.
Okay, are there any provisions in there for extensions of those timelines?
I
Yes,
think we talked about that, I don't remember what the final language is. So,
Yes, I think
Because I'm sure you
that-
want to be deliberate about when and not be just hard-nosed about those if there are extenuating circumstances, obviously. So I'm just curious whether there were provisions specifically about what potentially might qualify for extensions of those timelines.
We have that 2-year requirement where you have to make a qualified sale or qualified lease. It does allow for an extension of up to 1 year for good cause.
Okay. And who determines good cause?
It'll be ours,
Your housing coordinator?
Your housing program
Okay.
coordinator.
All right.
And we'll set up internal policies as to what that looks like,
Okay.
and how many extensions can be granted and all that stuff. But I don't
Okay.
think it needs to be in the ordinance.
All right.
Good cause
Yeah.
has some legal standards behind it for public purpose.
Sorry, say that again.
Good cause has legal standards behind it.
Yeah.
And it typically has like a public purpose requirement.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, as long as we know that there is actually the potential for an extension beyond that period.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm gonna ask
Councilor Lopez?
one more. No, not yet. Close, near miss. Okay, so the clawback provision, an LLC buys the house, let's say, you try to claw it back, they're like, I don't have any money, all I have is the house. Because the house is the only thing in the LLC. So we just put another lien on it? Okay.
I would think so, for the,
Yeah.
but yes, I would think so.
So it just goes back to what it was?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All right. Last agenda item 16, ordinance amending Tulsa Revised Ordinance Title 49, Administrative Permit and License Fees, Chapter 3, Building Permit Fees by adding Section 328, Building Permit Fee Adjustment for affordable housing, providing for a waiver of fees imposed under Section 301, Building Permit Application Fee, and 302, Building Permit Fee, to promote affordable housing in the city of Tulsa, outlining conditions to qualify for the adjustment, providing for a clawback of conditions if conditions are not met, providing for severability. Bellis, Dr. Wright, Lakin, and Bush. 3H Task Force recommendation.
This was literally just fixing a typo, actually. So these two are kind of partner ordinances, they reference each other. And so in this one, when it referenced the other, it said the wrong chapter number. So I just fixed that.
Correct.
And that's
Okay,
it.
typo. Questions or comments?
Nope, thanks for
All right, we're out of here. Ta-da.